all get together and focus on whatever this is going to, kind of impact your business. So I like to teach a lot of paid advertisements. That's what I specialize in, and that's what I kind of do for a living. So I'm going to go inside of here. I'm going to show you guys this too as well. This is Ads Manager. We're going to play around quite a bit in here. So feel free, if you guys have, another desktop or anything like that to take notes on. And then also, if you guys want to go along and work through it with me, feel free to do that as well. So this is how to generate leads with Facebook and Instagram. I'm a complete nerd with this stuff, so sorry if I go fast or anything like that. Feel free to ask me to stop, go back, or anything like that. I'd love to for you guys. So one of the things that I want to first cover with you guys is, thank you guys for spending the time of investing in yourself, right? That's one of the things I learned as being a business owner, right? Was I had to invest in myself with self-education, right? Learning on how to do things. And it does take a lot of time, but a lot of this stuff I had to do because when I started my business, I didn't have any money. So I had to figure out how I could spend the time. And then as soon as I started figuring out on how to leverage that money to grow with me, right? So that's one of the cool parts about it. So I'm going to show you guys how to do all this without spending, a ton of money. So I'm guessing for most of you guys, this is probably not your first class, right? Especially with all this quarantine stuff, this is definitely not your guys' first class that you guys have been on. If it is, well, welcome to it. This is a great webinar that you guys are on, and I've had a lot of fun doing this. And if you struggle with social media in the past, it's not your fault. There's a lot of information out there, and sometimes it may be confusing. I remember when I first started learning a lot of this stuff, it was like the information overload that kind of got me not getting to the success that I wanted, right? Because I wouldn't take action on what I was actually learning on. So if I can recommend anything from, being on this webinar, just implement one of the things that I talk about. Write down and kind of take notes throughout it. And then after the webinar, write down 3 things that you're going to do and implement, and then just choose one to get started on today. That's the best way to actually put these things into work, so that way you can actually grow your business. So if you've been concerned in the past with it just not being able to succeed with them, right? You've boosted posts before on Facebook or Instagram, you've ran types of ads, and you haven't been able to get anything out of it, right? I'm going to put those fears to rest because sometimes you just need the right person to explain it to you. And I needed that right person for myself too. So that's why I do these types of classes, to share and give back the information that I learned, because you learn to earn to return, right? I had a mentor that told me that, and you never go full circle to learn something new until you actually return it to someone else. So I think that's one of the best gifts that I could ever give. So if you guys are wondering how to battle with some of these tech giants that have been stealing your customers for years now, the realtor.coms, the Zillows, and then charging you an up-price fee of buying those leads back. I've worked with huge companies, big teams that, buy, tens to $20,000 worth of Zillow ads or realtor.com ads every single month. And I showed them on how they can get those same leads for literally fractions of the cost. So if you guys have ever thought marketing is just a complete waste of money, you're probably right. But I'm going to show you guys on how you can use this to be your biggest asset inside of your business, right? Because at first it was just a huge outflow for me when I started doing this myself. And I started figuring out, I was like, dude, I need to get this to work. I need to get this to work, right? So I've been in your shoes. I haven't had it work in the past, and now I'm sharing with you guys so you guys can learn from my experiences of what I did wrong, right? I'm a big fan of just documenting the process of what's been happening. So that's kind of why I put this together, right? This is documentation of what I've been doing. So I wanted to know, I know that each and every single one of you guys want to close more deals, want to have a bigger impact in the community, whatever your goals and your visions are. I know you guys have them. I want to help you guys accomplish them. Facebook and Instagram are just a vehicle for you guys to accomplish those and meet the right people. So, a background about me, I've been extremely blessed. I've been able to help top teams around literally the country. We work in 13 different states and 17 markets, basically helping out with Facebook, Instagram, Google Ads, YouTube, LinkedIn, pretty much anything digital we touch. And that's kind of what I like to tell people. And we build out systems and processes for them to scale their business. So we work with teams of 1 people, or teams of just, 1 person or 2 people. And we work with teams where there's 25 plus sales agents on there. So super different stuff. It wasn't always easy. I got started putting out open house signs when I was 18, 19 years old, started up my first company, thought I was super cool, and was able to put out all these signs. And eventually I had to figure out a different way to make money. One, the city of Tucson wasn't a big fan of all these red signs when there was 200 to 250 out every single weekend. They got a little frustrated with me. The other thing was I was getting frustrated with kind of my business model as a whole. I had employees that weren't able to help out. They were stealing from me, the whole 9 yards. And the biggest way that I was able to grow this business, because I went down to Tucson, didn't know a single soul, was I had to use Facebook and Instagram to grow this business. So like before I even knew on how to do all this stuff, I had to figure it out to grow this business. And I ended up wounding up teaching and starting to do this for real estate agents instead. So one of my mentors, basically Tony Ray Baker, he's not on this today, but Tony is an amazing guy. And what he did is he helped me out to essentially systematically build this out and show you guys how to do all this. So he showed me what a real estate agent needs, what they want, what they're looking to do, the different types of things that, could help them out. And that's kind of how we started building all this process out. So what I'm going to share with you guys is the right things today, right? I don't want to share with you guys all the mistakes, all the things that I've wasted money on. I'm going to share with you guys the thing that works today, right? So that is one of my favorite parts about this is you guys get to see what actually works. So my goal out of this presentation is to help two types of people, right? There's the beginners on this, right? Where then maybe this is your first couple years in real estate. You guys have basically closed business from your sphere of influence, looking for other marketing alternatives or channels to close either your first deal or a couple other deals from outside of your sphere of influence. The second person is an experienced agent, someone who's looking to build out relationships, scale their team, build their pipeline, and use Facebook and Instagram to do that, right? We're always looking to build more of the right connections. This is just another tool for you guys to leverage that. So again, this is how to generate leads with Facebook and Instagram. And at first, when I started doing all of this, I didn't think I can compete with a small budget that was allocated as a test that they said. I was competing against Zillow, Realtor.com, Open Door, all of these companies that are just massive, right? And I was like, dude, the $100 that I was given as a test, is not enough. But I figured out I could actually stretch that $100 to be a whole lot more than what it was. So this is an example of when I first started doing this kind of stuff, right? So who has $35, right? Everyone should have $35 as a marketing budget. And if you could generate 17 leads out of those $35, that allows you to grow your business, right? Not all of those leads are going to turn into a deal right away. But if you're building this database, right, you're building these connections and people, you're able to keep in front of them and stay on top of them, right, with either a drip system, cold calling, following up calls, emails, the whole 9 yards, finding them on Facebook and adding them as friends. Like these are people who are requesting information about a property, about a listing, about, selling their house, right? These are people that want to know about how to do stuff in real estate. So you might be wondering what type of an ad this even looks like. And this is kind of what it looks like. And I'm going to show you guys exactly how to build this. So if you guys want to take a screenshot, take a screenshot. But you guys are actually going to get a couple bonuses that I throw in throughout all of this stuff that I basically share with you guys, a proven ad copy formula and strategy that we use time after time that kind of walks through exactly how to do this. But basically what the ad says is, attention home buyers, are you looking for a move-in ready home in one of the most desirable Tucson areas? Check out this huge 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,828 square feet home in Casa Adobes. See more images and click the Learn More button today. So this is basically a listing ad, right? So this is a listing that an agent that we were working with had, and these are the results that we got for them, right? So 17 leads, $2, 35 bucks, right? So we just started doing this. So super easy to get in front of these people. But if you guys notice one key thing that I left out in a lot of this stuff, right? If you guys notice one key thing, I didn't add the address in. A lot of people forget about this. And it's important that you hold certain information back from your clients to get something out of it, right? It has to be a fair trade. If you put all of your eggs, out on the table and there's nothing left for them to get after they got all of that, why would they reach out to you? Why would they need you anymore? Right? So they need you to get the property address. They need you for the price. They need you for, actually seeing this property. So that's kind of how we like to do it and get these leads to come in. So again, just so you guys don't see that this is a fluke, this is a recent screenshot that I took. Basically, showing you guys different, leads that we're generating currently. This is a client that we have a pretty big ad budget now for. that we're generating just a ton of leads for them on a consistent basis every single month. So this is how to use paid ads. So I'm going to talk with you guys a little bit about some of the strategy and about the how-to, right? So first things first, if you guys have not visited this website, if this page looks super unfamiliar with you, you definitely want to make sure that you bookmark and save this page. The URL address on it is business.facebook.com. I'm going to go in there in a little bit and I'm going to show you guys around. I just kind of want to walk through a background first with you guys about that, just to make sure you guys have that all set up. If you don't, make sure you create an account. So basically, after you've created your account, you're going to need the ads manager account. You might be like, Kyle, this is just too much stuff. It's really not too much stuff. Just set up and create an ads manager account and a business manager account, and then just connect your Facebook account. Super easy to do. There's a bajillion YouTube videos on there. I'm pretty sure I have a couple online too as well that you guys can go watch. And it's very important when we're doing all of this. Like I like to kind of put this as like a flashing red light, like make sure you do this, because I don't want to get like reached out and have like 10 bajillion emails about my ads are not getting approved. This is the number one reason why people don't get their ads approved, is because they're not clicking this special category. And a lot of people make this mistake. And I want to save you guys from doing that, because it frustrates the hell out of people. And they're like, I keep on posting this out, I keep on doing that, and they don't get anywhere, right? And it's because they don't, it's just one simple click of a button. I'll show you guys where it is. So let's jump in my screen. I told you guys I like to abandon my PowerPoint and actually do stuff live with you guys instead. I think it's better. I think it gets more, just attraction. I think it's better for everyone if I do stuff like this. So the first things that I want to bring up with, so this is Ads Manager. So you go to business.facebook.com. And inside of here, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be sharing with you guys about how to create a single listing ad, right? So that's what we're here for, is how to generate leads. If you're sitting here and you're like, Kyle, I don't have any listings, that's okay. Because what you can do is you can reach out to someone in your brokerage. You can reach out to someone in your team. There's people out there that would let you advertise their listings without a doubt, right? That's more eyeballs for their property. That means they're going to get happier clients, and they're going to potentially find a buyer for that property too as well, and get the commission check. So if you can bring a buyer to the table, that definitely helps out. So if you don't have any listings, this is not an excuse on why you can't do this. So as soon as you're in business.facebook.com, what you're going to do is you're going to go to Ads Manager. So you're going to hit this, go to Ads Manager, and then we're going to create an ad. So this is kind of start to finish. What we're going to do is walk through you guys of how to set it all up, what things to click, what things to put in, how to create the image, literally the whole 9 yards on all of this stuff. Like, I'm an open book. If you guys, maybe some of you guys have been on this class before, or a similar class that I've done, and I really give you guys the real deal of what we actually do, which I think is cool. Because I'm not in it to make money, I'm in it to help people. So this is the special ad category that I was talking about, right? Is how to, basically make sure that you have housing. If you're doing employment or credit, most of us that are on here are real estate, so make sure that we're hitting housing. And the next thing is that if we're optimizing, right, if my end goal is for lead generation, right, my end goal is leads, I want to make sure that I hit lead generation on there, right? And then what I do is I just call this, 123 East Main Street, right, something like that. And this is going to be our test ad, right? And I'm going to show you guys, just walk through with a simple example. This works with any property that we've ever done. We've done, really rinky-dink houses that are like $50,000 with these types of ads. And we've done houses that are, $2+ million as well. So it really doesn't matter what type of house it is, as long as it's a house that has, 4 walls and a door, it works. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to do a split test. So an A/B test, for those of you guys who are not familiar with it, is basically what we're doing is we're testing out different versions of the same ad to the same people to see which one kind of piques their interest more. Because what we find, right, just like choice and taste and everything else, right? Like, some of you guys might be looking at this red shirt and be like, dude, he looks so ugly in that red shirt. A blue shirt would have looked way better, right? Just weird stuff like that might get someone to attract to your ad better. So that's what we're essentially doing. I like to make fun of myself quite a bit in here, so you guys feel free to laugh at me. But what we're going to be doing is creating the ad account, set it all up. You need to make sure this is kind of our test account that we do stuff with. And then the next thing is basically accepting the terms on your Facebook page. So This is another reason why people are not able to run these ads. They get frustrated. They reach out to me. So to eliminate some of that for you guys is make sure that you guys accept the Facebook lead ads terms and conditions, right? So you just look through their terms. It's a lot of garbage and you just accept it, right? Or else you can't use it. Kind of the perks of playing with Facebook, right? So the next thing is audience, right? So if you have the best message in the world, right? I'm going to give you guys a perfect message that you guys don't have to change at all, but you need to make sure that you're putting it in front of the right people, right? Because if I have the wrong message to the wrong person, it's not going to work, right? You know, if someone's looking to sell their house and you keep on just showing them, you know, stuff of places to rent, and they're like, dude, I'm looking to buy another place. Like, I'm not looking to do that. Like, why do you keep on sharing that with me? They're not going to be happy. They're not going to be a customer of yours. So I'm going to jump into custom audiences a little bit later after we get this first ad set up. But what I do is I basically take whatever the address is of the property. So I'm going to use just an old address that I had, Cherry Ave. So basically what I do is I take the address of the property, it takes a 15-mile radius around the address of the property. And then I might even pull in some different things, right? If I know like, hey, there's a lot of people, let's say in Marana, that are moving down to Tucson or from Tempe to Chandler or wherever people are moving from. If you know that's like another area, right? I would just maybe add Marana in this situation because, you know, that's another major dominant city. Plus it's going to help me get in front of more people too as well. So that's kind of, that's kind of basically how I do the targeting is I use the address of the property. So I just threw out an address for this example, but you would pull your address for your listing. The next thing is that what I go into the detailed targeting. So I talked a little bit about competing with the Zillows, the Realtor.coms, these huge companies, right? So how do I compete with them? Well, I play off their marketing, right? I spin off their marketing. So what I do is Zillow pays a shit ton of money every single month for PPC ads, right? So for those of you guys who know what PPC is, it's basically Google AdWords. They have a lot of SEO traffic, so it's organic traffic that people are typing in and searching. So when someone's searching for houses for sale in their local area, they typically go to Zillow, right? Which is great, but we want those people to come to the real estate agents instead, right? That's our whole goal and our objective. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have these people go on to, right, anyone who's been on Zillow, right? Because what essentially Facebook did is they did an ingenious thing and created Facebook Pixel, right? And what Facebook Pixel does is it's on Zillow. You can even check it. You can see exactly what's on Zillow. They have Facebook Pixel on there. So anytime someone goes on there, Facebook has all of their information. They have their cookies, their IP address, the whole 9 yards on that. And we're able to use that data, which is super cool. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to narrow down this audience and I'm going to go down and I'm going to go Realtor.com, right? So basically we just went from 100,000 people to 28,000 people. So for this demographic in this city, this wouldn't work too well. 28,000 people, I know that sounds like a lot of people to you guys, but my goal is to get it between like 100,000 people to like 200,000 people. It's like my goal for this potential reach audience, right? So my goal is to get it between there. So you can see this area that I was working didn't perform underneath those. If I change this area to just Chandler and like the Phoenix area, it will work because it's a bigger audience there, right? So if I go to Chandler and then I go, you know, so now we're at 54,000 people. Now let's say I take Scottsdale and now I'm at like 93,000 people. Perfect, right? So if you guys couldn't change your areas, the simple way around that, so let's go back. I'm just kind of using different examples for you guys to kind of show you guys what this kind of looks like because everyone's areas are different, right? We work with people that are, you know, really little small towns, right? Of like 100,000 people tops. So it's like, if you're in a smaller city like that, you got to definitely figure out different ways to do it. So instead of me narrowing it down by they have to be on Zillow and Realtor.com, what I would do is I go to Realtor.com and I would have, if they're on either of them, right? Because now I got it to 110,000 people for that same location. So you guys can see the different variations because, you know, if I'm in Phoenix and I did this, right? Let me just change it real fast. If I did this, we're going to have almost too many people, I think it is, that it comes out to be. Yeah, so 300,000 people. That's outside of my sweet spot, right? So you can see why I narrowed it down, how I narrowed it down. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose automatic placements. You can look to see where your placements are. Really cool features. I get people that I show up on like Candy Crush games or like different types of apps and stuff like that, which I think are always funny because people will send me a screenshot. They're like, dude, you're everywhere. I can't get away from you. So it's really cool when you kind of have like your videos and your ads going out all over the place on this. So that's why I always choose automatic placement or manual place or automatic placement, because it allows me to go in more places where my customers are. Facebook's going to put it into the right place at the right time for that type of person, right? So super easy way. Delivery optimization, I leave all of that alone, right? I try not to touch too many things when I go inside of here, because we've done some split tests where we've tried to go over, like handle cost control. I'm like, I'm not going to pay more than 50 cents per lead. Or I'm not going to pay more than $2 per lead. And every single time we did that, it never worked. But when I would take it off, I was able to get that 50-cent lead. I was able to get that, $2 lead. So it worked a lot better when we keep this off. So just to save you guys some time, you guys don't have to do that. And then I always use a lifetime budget instead of a daily budget. So the reasons behind a lifetime budget and a daily budget, you might be like, what's the difference? There's one difference that I think is the most important difference. And it's like, let's say the search volume on like Saturday is a lot higher than Sunday, right? Like 2 times as much. Well, if I have a daily budget of $10, I might miss out on some of that upside potential of having a higher search volume on Saturday. And then I'm going to still spend $10 on Sunday for a lower search volume and not touch as many people. But a lifetime budget, what it would maybe do, so let's say I had a lifetime budget of $20, right? It's the same budget. What it would do is maybe it would spend $15 on Saturday and only $5 on Sunday, which I think is really cool when it comes down to maximizing your budget. And you don't have to have a massive lifetime budget. You can have $20 like what I just said. This estimated test power, I think, is all garbage. Don't listen to it. So I'm just kind of saving you guys stuff. I've had stuff where it's like, you got an estimated test power of 20%. And it's like, those were some of the best ads that I've ever ran. So some of their things are not the best. And then you can do like show advanced settings, and you can schedule it out on like a certain date and time if you guys wanted to as well too. So you can like preset these. But I usually, when I'm, if I'm setting it up, I'm probably just going to set it up to get running right away, which I think is probably the most important part, right? I want to get it running. I don't want to have it sitting there for a couple of days unless the listing hasn't, necessarily gone through yet. So now that I do that, I need to set up the actual ads. So one of the things, if you guys want to throw in the chat your email addresses just to make sure that I have them all. But what I'm going to do, let me pull over the document. I got too many Zoom windows in the way. Let's get this guy out. There we go. So this is what I'm going to share with you guys. So I have a couple giveaways that I'm going to give completely for free. And basically what this does is it shares with you guys about how to create our single listing ad. It gives you the copy and paste formula that we're going to walk through today. So if you guys want to throw that in the chat, your email address, so I can make sure and send it to you if you guys attended this live webinar. Goes through the different landing pages, literally everything you need to know inside of it. I'm going to walk through it right now too as well with you guys. So what we do is we basically go inside and what I go is I go to canva.com. So if you guys, I'm like a Canva freaking nerd. I have like a surfboard over here that has a ton of Canva stickers because I buy like a ton of business cards from them and I design a bunch of stuff over there. But what I do is I basically go over here and I go to Instagram post, right? And I just take a blank post. And when I create this ad, what I do is I just go to elements and I like keep it super simple. And I go to grids and I select a couple grids that I'm going to use. And basically these grids, I'm going to throw in images of houses, because what I want them to do is I want them to think that this is a multiple, like, these are multiple pictures, even though this is one single picture, right? When this photo is saved, it's one picture as a whole, but they have to zoom in on each of them, which increases engagement. Increased engagement means I get better results, right? So think about it. The person who, is always getting called, right, is always going to get the better results. The person's ad who's always getting clicked on is always going to get the better results. So what I do is I just throw in these photos, right? You can take any ones that you want, and test around and basically see which one works the best. But basically what I do is I go into, and I'll just take some photos. These are some beat up houses that we do but they still work, right? So I take some photos of the inside, the outside, and these might not even be the same photos of the house. They might be two different photos of the house, right? If we're doing a single listing ad, I'd recommend keeping the same photos of the property, so that way it's not confusing and like having everything right. Like this doesn't make sense to have like a fully new like kitchen and everything like that within like an old thing like that. Like that just doesn't make sense. You can tell that this is not the same property. But maybe if I did something like this, and I basically just go through and save it. I'm not going to go through and do all of these because it's just a time waster, to be honest. You guys kind of get the point. And I'll show you guys what a finished example looks like too as well. And make sure you connect to your pages, right? Make sure you connect with just that simple button that I just clicked right here. Make sure that you connect your Instagram account, and it will get you guys some ads over on Instagram too. So super easy to do that. Let me make sure. I know you guys probably put all your stuff in the chat, so I just want to make sure that there's no questions in there either. Okay, cool. Will you be sending this out in another form that our agents can try their own? Might be hard to remember after this webinar. Yes, I am going to send out basically the video recording of this. It's only valid until Sunday, and then it goes away. I do that for a couple reasons. One, because I want you guys to take action and actually implement this, because I feel like when stuff is out there forever, it never actually gets done. And then the second reason is, one, you guys are actually going to get a special bonus too as well at the end. So there is going to be a video afterwards that you guys can all watch. So what I basically do is I'll just show you guys some finished images, but these are what the images look for this single listing. So you can see I kind of got 3 photos here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this over and I'm going to start copying over some of our stuff. And this is exactly what we do when we actually run ads. Like we found the formula. I've tested this out. I've tried all of this stuff. So why is the sweet spot 100,000? Why wouldn't more be better? Because essentially what I'm going to do is I want to get in front of like 100,000 people. That's doable for me to find the right person. So yes, more sometimes is better, but how many times could you reach 1 million people, right? Not that many times, but 100,000 people I could reach pretty easily without having to spend, you know, like millions of dollars to do. So that's kind of why I use 100,000 as like my sweet spot, like 100 to 200,000 is my sweet spot, because that's kind of like right around the amount of people that are probably active and still looking. And you're going to find people who, you know, haven't talked to a real estate agent yet. Because, you know, the more people that you get in there, you're going to find a bunch of renters that are in there that, you know, maybe just started looking for some stuff, or you might find, you know, someone who's already listed with an agent and stuff like that too as well. So that's why 100,000 is my sweet spot. So then what I'm going to do is copy this out, and all you guys really have to do is like on this page is just change out anything that's red, right? So it says like your city. So I'm just going to change out your city, right? This property is actually located in Mesa. So I'm just going to do Mesa. And then I can do like for areas, I can do like East Valley, right? And basically the East Valley area, and just kind of change it around and make sure that it all makes sense. And then just throw in, you know, this is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, I think like 2,860 square feet or something like that. And obviously you guys would know your property details better. This is just an example that I've used for a while now. And then I just plug in basically the amount of bedrooms for the headline and just change out a couple simple things, right? We like to keep it very easy. This is our top performing ad that gets us like results for like, you know, dollar leads, and which is super cool because it's like, if you guys can generate dollar leads, like you guys are going to absolutely crush it. And desirable Mesa, your screen stop sharing. Oh, that's not good. Thank you for letting me know that. Can you guys see it now? Just give me a thumbs up if you guys can see it now. No, Aaron says no.
Oh, I have a question for you.
Yeah, of course.
You know, down at the bottom, when you run an ad, it will say like sign up or learn more.
Yeah, this one right here.
Yes, call to action. Which one is better to do?
I always choose learn more.
Okay.
Less
And
sales,
then,
yeah, it's less salesy. So
okay, and then I must have missed what you said, but is this a lead generation ad or which type did you click on?
that's correct. Yeah. So when I do the campaign, I select the lead generation ad.
Okay.
Inside of here, because like if I want
Yes.
to generate leads, I want to generate them on Facebook, I'm going to do a lead generation ad.
Okay.
The other way to generate leads would be through traffic, right? Like getting someone to click over to your landing page. You're going to pay a significantly higher cost to do that. It still works, but it all depends on whatever your budget is, right? So, and it all depends on how well your landing page actually performs too. With like,
Now, what happens if someone just wants like attraction to their page and their post? Would you still do lead generation?
no, yeah. So I would, so like personally, I don't like doing that kind of stuff. I'll talk a little bit about a better way to do that.
Okay.
I think like some types of marketing like that can work. It all depends on the personality type, I think, of the person.
Gotcha.
You know, if like they're very connected with their audience and they're someone that their audience really like engages with quite a bit, I think that's a great way to do it. But for most people that, you know, most real estate agents who don't put out a consistent amount of content and stuff like that, you're not going to get good results right away from that. Like,
Okay.
this is going to get you, like, you know, people who you don't know their names, numbers, and phone number, or name, number, email address, phone number, whole 9 yards, and that kind of stuff, for you to call them and kind of talk with them about, you know, purchasing a property. So this is more like a kind of a transactional ad, is what I would say.
Gotcha. Okay. Thanks.
Kyle, there was kind of another question along those lines. Do you need to have consistent content on your Facebook before starting ads, or will that get you flagged?
No. So we actually run a lot of ads for some of our clients who don't have any content on their page.
Okay.
I don't recommend it because, you know, at the end of the day, like when I see an ad, like let's say I'm on Facebook and I see an ad, like I'm going to click on maybe that profile, right, of that company, which actually happens quite typically, because I know when I see like the pages that we run ads on, like we still get about, you know, like there's no content being posted other than the ads. And we still see, you know, like 40, 50, 60 people sometimes, depending on how much we're spending, that click over to the page. So it is important to have that type of content out and be posting consistently, but it's not an end all be all for this type of ad. So hopefully that kind of helps.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. And then Aaron said, "Oh shoot, I swiped right." Okay, no worries. I was, you know, if you guys have any questions about, like, you know, if my screen goes out or something like that, just let me know, or any questions about anything. I'm free to talk about this kind of stuff. So just in case we kind of missed some of this stuff. So basically, these are the different places where your videos or your ads going to be. So basically, you'll see it in the mobile news feed. You can do desktop, and then you can kind of go through and kind of see all the other ones, right? So you can see what it looks like on Instagram. And basically, you can see it just looks a little bit different. But the biggest thing I want to notice is you can see that this feature right here, where it has attention Mesa home buyers, then it has the learn more button. So that's what we call like beyond the fold, or beyond the fold. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that this is something that's going to call them out, right? If I'm in Mesa, I'm looking to buy a house. Like if I have that, like I'm gonna click on it, right? So make sure like stuff like that is super, super, super useful. And then the next thing is, now we need to create what we call like our Facebook landing page, which they call instant forms, or lead forms is a familiar name with them. And what I do is I just call it whatever the property address is. And this will be useful later on, because if you do, you know, because we have agents that we work with, you know, that close 50, 60 transactions a year. You know, for us to keep track of all of these people and different listings, like it's really hard. So we make sure to name them. Even if you only have 10 listings that you close every year, it's still important to name them. And that way you can actually look back and go back into it. So just keeping that, you know, just, you know, starting good with that kind of stuff. It'll help you out in the long run. The next thing that I want to share with you guys, if I can find my page again, is basically, you know, what does the landing page look like? How do I create it? All of that good stuff. So the headline that I first use is "See all the photos today." So if you guys remember from the ad, I didn't share all of the photos with them. I maybe showed, so in this one, in this example, I showed them 3 photos. There's ones that show them 3, there's ones that show them 4, 5, 6, however many photos, right? They're not able to see the whole listing, right? Which is a key factor in me getting that person to come into my funnel, right? If they want to, if they're a serious person that actually wants to see more about this property, they got to give us their information. And I know that might sound like, Kyle, you're so mean, but I'm like, no, I'm getting you business. This is like, you know, think about it like an open house. Like, even though some agents let, you know, an open house kind of, you walk around, you don't have to really sign in. But the ones who do open houses and are most successful, they make sure every single person signs in before they even step foot in that house, which I think is super important in getting these types of ads to work for you. So sometimes you got to be a little bit mean in a way, right, to do all of this and get it to work. No, that doesn't make any sense. So basically what I do is I go in here and I just kind of clean this up to make sure that it looks all good, property features, and then I highlight some of the features. You guys know what those features are in your house and the property. Basically what this is it's taking some of the stuff that, you know, was inside of here, inside of this ad. So you can see some of the same things go into this because people don't like to read. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say the same thing just in a different way. And that's kind of what we're doing in this situation. And I just share out 4 property features. So these are like open floor plan, updated kitchen, huge master bathroom, you know, different things that are just key characteristics inside of the property that, you know, are going to make it stand out from maybe the person next door to you. So the questions that I ask. So the first question that I always ask is a multiple choice question. When are you looking to move? Question mark. And then I go less than a month, 1 to 3 months, 3 to 6 months, and then 6+ months. And you can change these around to be whatever you want, but that's basically what I do because one, I don't want them to have to type it in. People are lazy. So the less friction I can create within my customers and the people who are going to join in for my lead, the better. So they click one of these, it kind of gives me an idea of when they're looking to move, right? Because if they're like 6 months out, you know, I'm not going to be like as aggressive with that person. You know what I mean? If they're less than a month out, I might be a little bit more aggressive. So then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to switch these up. I'm going to have full name, email, and then I'm also going to choose their phone number. And you can add other features, but these are the 4 questions that we ask. When they're moving, what's their full name, email address, and phone number, right? Just simple things. I don't need their whole life story. I don't need everything. I can find out some of this information later. If you decide to put in more questions, expect a higher cost per result. So like, let's say I'm generating with these 3 questions, $1.50 per lead, right? And then I throw in another 2 questions, you're probably going to see that cost rise to maybe $2 to maybe $3 and so on and so forth because people are lazy. Like I said, they don't like to type in their information. But that's not necessarily a bad thing if you have to pay more for a lead, you know, because if that saves you from having to do some of the pre-qualification stuff and getting a better quality lead for yourself, you know, so be it, and do that kind of stuff, right? So those are the questions we ask. And then we go to a privacy policy. For most of you guys probably have a privacy policy that's inside of your brokerage. So I like to use just EXP as an example for this. Super easy. So all I do is I just go to their main website, I go to their privacy policy, and I copy over this URL address. If you're a part of a smaller boutique brokerage, you might not have the luxury of something like this. But what you could do is you could create a landing page, and I don't want to say copy this because I'm not a lawyer by any means, but if you do something similar to this, it's probably going to protect you pretty dang close. So the next thing is doing basically the thank you screen, which we have all of that information on, and I just copy and paste this over, right? I wanted to make this as easy as possible. That's why I wanted to give you guys this PDF, because it's like, if you guys have this PDF, you can see how fast, you can go through and do all of these types of ads. And then, you know, it just saves you time, right? Like, I'm a big component of like, let's save time. So now that this is all said and done, let's kind of go through a recap of what we've done so far. So I've created the ad that basically gets me in front of my ideal customers, right? It tells them to, you know, learn more about this property. It's $10,000 below market value. And it's a great deal, right? Learn more information about it. Well, they need to know where the property is. They need to know the address, the cost for the property, the whole 9 yards, right? So not all the time you're going to get the best buyer for this property, but what you can do is you can find a buyer for another property and go, hey, you know, I'm sorry that this property is outside of, you know, your purchase price that you're looking for, but I'd love to help you, you know, find it in that purchase price. So it's super cool, and it kind of gives you an opportunity to change up and switch up directions real fast and easily for doing that. And then what I basically do is they fill out their information, right, as soon as they click to learn more, and then they basically are able to see all the photos today. So what I would do in this situation is make sure that you actually share with them the photos, right? The worst thing that you could ever do is, you know, basically take something and not share with them, you know, the thing that you promised them, right? Because what is that going to do for you? That's probably not going to help you to, you know, close their business, right? So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to take, I'm just pulling a random address just to save some time. I'm going to take whatever this is and I'm going to use my website. I wouldn't use the big brokerage website because this is, you know, if I fill out, you know, request a showing and I fill this out, this is probably going to get sent to someone on their team or whoever, you know, whoever's website this is associated with. And it's not going to go back to you. I'd make sure that it's your website and stuff like that. I just use them as an example because they're easy to do. And then all I'm going to do is just pull in this, and then I'm going to go ahead and hit save and then hit finish. Oops, so you can see I left one thing out. So just below. So just make sure you do that, just kind of asking them to confirm their information. Go ahead and hit save, and then once you hit save, you can reuse this, right? Which is really cool because, you know, if you're going through and you're creating a new listing for, you know, 123 East Main Street instead of West Main Street, I can easily duplicate that format just by hitting that button, and now I have all of the same things. Super easy to do, and now this is our ad, right? So they go ahead, they click this Learn More button, they get taken to this page, right, which goes, hey, see all the photos today, movable, ready home, and put in the number of bedrooms in desirable area, right? This is houses in Mesa, $10,000 below market value, see all the photos, and then 4 property features plus more. They click one of these, let's say it's less than a month, they hit the next button, brings them to this. This actually auto-populates their information that they signed up with on Facebook. So it's gonna pull their username, right? So it's gonna pull Kyle Allen, the email address I signed up and the phone number I signed up with Facebook. Shows you my privacy policy, they hit that submit button. Then that is when their information is sent to you, right? So I use Zapier to send that through basically to my CRM system, but there's a whole lot of other different things that you guys can use as well to get in front of the right people at the right time. So the next thing that I'm gonna do is basically, you know, allow them to view the website, which they click over and they can now look at the property on your website. And then this is where, you know, you have your phone number somewhere on here, you have a contact information, you know, the whole 9 yards, anything that you can do to get in front of them. So that's pretty much how to set it up as far as that. And then all I have to do, right, if you guys remember, I was split testing this, this ad. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to change this image, and this is the only thing I'm going to do, right? Let me choose image number 4 instead. And now we technically got a completely new ad, right? This looks different than the first one, and this might get us more clicks. In this example, this is a winning ad that we actually ran, and this one actually performed better than all of the other ads. So just to give you guys kind of a hint, sometimes more photos does get you better results, but not in all cases. And then if I just wanted to test another ad, what I usually do is I end up testing about 5. For these purposes, I'll just show you guys one more, and I'll just change it maybe to this one where it's 6. So really simple to change it out, and then you guys can take a look at some of the layouts. You can see how it looks on Facebook, you can see how it looks on Instagram, all of this kind of stuff, so that way you guys see exactly how it's all done. And then as soon as that's all said and done, I feel good. I've overlooked my ads, right? The biggest thing is making sure that you've, you know, went through, corrected all your grammar, make sure you had the right targeting, kind of just doing like, you know, a double check on it. I'm going to confirm my ads and get started on them. So as soon as I confirm that, it's going to put it into basically, you know, the Facebook ad accounts, and they're going to review your ad. And your ad, for the most part, as long as you guys accepted all of the terms and conditions, did the things that you're going to do, and weren't, you know, trying to maliciously target people on Facebook or anything like that, your ads are going to be accepted. So then you're going to go through that. And then what we basically do is we use Zapier. So those of you guys who are familiar with Zapier, we use Zapier to link these ads together. And I could go over like a whole class on Zapier, but for those of you guys who just want to, take a look and figure out Zapier, great place to do it. You guys can actually sign up for free too as well. So super easy. I'll throw that in the chat for you guys. That way you guys have that for another time. And basically, yeah, that's the Facebook ads. I do have a couple other things that I do want to cover too as well. Of course, it wanted to get me to start all the way back. So the next thing that I want to talk about is video ads. So how many of you guys use video? Throw it in the chat if you guys use any video. I'd like to know who's using video, because I, am a huge video person. I love using it. I have a lot of really great, Emily says she needs to get back to it. It's an amazing, great way to get in front of more people. So the conversation that me and Emily had when we were talking on the phone the other day was, I like to use this because I talk with a lot of people about this exact strategy, and this is just the way my mind thinks about it. So if I'm going to have a message, right, and I'm going to have that message and I want to get it out to as many people as possible, wouldn't it be easy if I recorded that message one time and then I was able to send it out to thousands of people, right? Like, wouldn't that be amazing and like help me out to save my time? Like, same message, same process, gets back in front of the same people, or same people and different people every single time. And it allows them to get to know me and connect with me and all that stuff. So I see Michael says just recently started, but not yet in paid ads. Okay. So what I would recommend is do a bunch of video content, create all of these videos, and then share them out in Facebook groups, share them out into, different places along Facebook, share them on your Instagram, your LinkedIn, all over, any place that, can take a video, put it on there, use YouTube. And the biggest thing I like to tell people is document, don't create. Like, this whole webinar was formed off me documenting what I was doing and how I got started. And instead of me just creating, how to generate, this webinar, how to generate Facebook and Instagram leads, I just went in it through and I was like, okay, cool. I can give them like, the whole like sales pitch, or I can document my process along. Which one's way cooler? Would you want to see how someone got to a certain point, or would you want to just see the finished result, right? A lot of people would choose to see how that person got to that result. So that's the same way that I like to do it. I do want to give you guys this free thing too as well. I told you guys I give out way too much stuff for free. But if you guys want to use this, this is basically 30 live video ideas. Just go here to this website and I'll drop this in here. Gives you guys 30 different ideas. Basically, we'll send you the PDF. So if you guys want to get access to that, go ahead. Let's just send the link in the chat. Super easy way to get in front of a lot of people without having to do too much, right? So if you guys want to get access to that, super cool thing. I want to share with you guys a video hack that's been one of the top things that I've ever been able to do inside my business. And it's basically going into business.facebook.com, the same platform we were just on, going in there and creating custom audiences, right? So what is a custom audience, Kyle? Is essentially, people who've interacted with your content or people who've interacted similarly like your content. So, if, for an example, right, like all of you guys were on my webinar today, the webinar that me and Emily put on together. And when you guys visited this, you guys were able to, hopefully grow a connection with me and Emily. And then the other thing was that you guys, now know me a little bit better, right? So if my message is going to be different to that person who knows me a little bit better than someone who just brand new, like who found me on the internet for the first time, right? The same way that your pitch is going to be, right? You're going to introduce yourself in person to someone. The same thing when you're using video content, right? Like I would still introduce myself, right? Like, hey guys, this is Kyle Allen. But what I would do is I would have the video be different, right? Maybe talk about something more in depth. And the cool part about it is these are all the different custom audiences that you guys can have. But the one that I like to use most is video content, since I do a lot of video content. And what I do is I go inside of here and I select anyone who watches a particular video of mine for more than 25%, right? Or I do 50 or 75, 95. I play around with a bunch of them. But what I do is I get in front of someone who's already watched the video. So let's say I have a video about an open house that I'm doing, right? And I have this video that I put out there and I got 1,000 people to watch the video, 25% of the way through, which is great. I'm ecstatic. I got people to know who I am a little bit more and know that I do real estate. Plus, if they watch the video for 25% of the way through, and let's say it was a 2-minute long video, they watched a decent percentage of it, right? Like, it's not like they just like watched like 3 seconds of it, right? they spent some time, and so they got to know me a little bit better. So maybe I want to show them a different video, right? So if I had an open house, maybe I'd want to show them, buyer tips, right? Because, someone who's interested in an open house is probably interested in buying a property. So that's what I would share with them, right? And then create another video. And then you just choose the videos you want to select, and then you go ahead and create your custom audience. So I like to show examples of kind of what this is. So this is Blake. We did Blake's ads, and essentially what we did is we did this ad, got in front of some people, and then we started getting in front of more and more people, basically as we go, and then we retarget them with this video as well to generate more link clicks. You can see the amount of people that watched the video to clicked on the link is dramatically better on this second video than it is this first video. And the reason why is because we basically took a custom audience and then put this same video back in front of that custom audience to anyone who watched it at least 25% of the way through, and then tried to get them to watch it all the way through again. So super key. You guys can see getting 1,000 people to watch your video 100% of the way through of a minute. That's 1,000 minutes, right? What's 1,000 minutes divided by 60, right? Someone can here, let me do the math real fast. 1,000 divided by 60. That's 16 hours. How many times could you guys, 16 hours. No, 16 minutes. I don't even know what I'm talking about. But, if the video is a minute long, right, that's allowing me to get in front of more people to do all of that kind of stuff. So again, if you guys want, the link's still in the Zoom link chat for that. The other way that I would recommend doing stuff, if you guys have no money at all, right? I was this person. What I had to do is I had to figure out how to generate leads from Facebook groups. So what I would do is I would literally go inside of these groups and I would friend people that, were my ideal customers, right? People that I wanted to get connected with. So if I was a real estate agent, I'd go into buy and sell groups. I'd go into, different business networking groups. I would go into, if I was a big fan of hiking, which I am, I'd go into hiking groups. I'd find things that, I can essentially network myself throughout this, this group and figure out, how can I get more people to know who I am and all that stuff. So what I did is I basically joined all of the real estate groups that all of you guys are in, and I started friending all of you guys as friends, and then I started sending you guys messages, and then I started, going through that process and then sharing you guys over my Facebook links and, sending another message or, whatever it was, or posting inside of these groups any way I possibly could to make sure that people were getting to know who I was. What to share. So I would share listings. So you got to be careful. Some groups don't let you share listings. Helpful resources. I would post a vlog. If I was doing a vlog, I'd go on there and I'd talk about, hey, this is, X, Y, and Z of what's going on here. I do post articles, different things that are going to engage with the group, and then make sure that you're actually engaging with the group too as well, and not just being a taker from the group. Marketplace is a great way to find people too as well. So for those of you guys who don't have any money as well, essentially marketplace is like Facebook Zillow. You're able to post all of your stuff on there. So what I would do if you have like no listings at all, you have no buyers in the pipeline, no nothing like that, I would literally go in there and I'd go on my brokerage and I'd post every listing I possibly could. And I'd obviously get permission to do so, but that's what I would do. And I would generate more leads than I even know what to do with. And, we did this for a team that's down in Tucson. They had about like 20 listings every single month that, were fluctuating through. What we did is we posted all of them on Marketplace. We literally had to hire an assistant to go inside and handle all of these leads that was full time, because it literally blew up. And those were just 20. So you can imagine what you could do at 30, 50, 100 different listings that you guys have on this, and generate all of this for free. And then you just hire a VA or someone like that to go through it. You can find for sale by owners. You can find people who are looking to rent their property as well. So a great pitch is to going to someone who's either trying to sell their property themselves, or someone who's trying to get a renter for it, is go, hey, have you ever thought about selling it? Now's a great time to sell. Give them X, Y, and Z reasons about why they should maybe list instead of rent, and figure out their certain situation. And maybe, who knows, maybe they might rent it out for a year, have the worst renter in the world, and then give you a call back because they're like, I remember you reached out a year right before this terrible renter came in. And I have a couple people who've had stories like that, who we've worked with, and they're like, dude, I started using Marketplace. I started doing this. I got listing appointments, with these people who are looking to rent their property, but they never really considered selling it, right? They just wanted to keep it. And I told them how much money that they could actually pull out of it. I figured out what they still owed, showed them what their profit would have been and how they can maybe reinvest it into another property too as well. So super cool ways. You guys can obviously get creative with that. Instagram is a great platform to use. I already talked about running some of those. My man, Uncle G, is a huge Instagram guy. He absolutely loves using Instagram. It's one of his favorite things to do. And I started using it. I wish I would have jumped on the bandwagon sooner. But, anyways, as long as you're still on it, that's all that matters, right? So what I would say is one of the best performing ads that we've been running is Instagram stories. There's a reason why. It's prime real estate, right? It's at the top of the bar. You guys are able to get in front of these people. And the key to having results and success with a Facebook ad on their stories is making sure you're using the right sizes. Canva.com is a great platform to go ahead and use with that. So the next thing I want to talk about, if my screen wants to load for me. You don't want to move. Okay. And then decided to start all the way back over. Cool. So the next thing is hashtags. So hashtags are a great way to get in front of a bunch of people with engaging with them. So what I use a tool called all-hashtag. I'll throw it in here for you guys. But it basically takes all of the best performing hashtags and it gives them to you. You just type in a certain keyword and they will actually bring you the certain keyword. So great tool to use. We use that. We also geo-target people, send them direct messages, which is our second thing. We send them direct messages off this hashtag. So this is how you always connect with new people. You got to make sure you follow up with those people and always swipe up on, old friends stuff, right? If you're a real estate agent, connect and engage with people using, stories. When someone posts a story or someone, has a post about something that they did or something that's exciting, share with them a direct message, right? That's personalized. That's something that, is really going to make or break a difference inside of your business, is having that personal effect, right? The ads are great, but you having that personal connection and using these two platforms to also grow, your ideal audience and get in front of your sphere is super important in my opinion. So that's how I would use that. So I wanted to give you guys a special offer since you guys have been such a great group. You guys asked amazing questions. And you guys took the time out of your day to sit through this class and learn and invest in yourself. So I want to invest in you guys. So basically I have a limited time offer. It's for one of our done for you services, which is called Leads Direct. So if you want to skip all of the hassle and you just want to get the leads sent to you, we have an amazing platform that does that. So you guys are going to get our high performing Facebook ads. You guys are going to get our high performing Instagram ads. You guys are going to get our retargeting ads. So we're going to retarget people as well throughout this whole process. We're going to go through and we're going to generate you 25 qualified buyers and sellers leads every single month. So, that's an extremely valuable rate, right there. Just that alone to make sure that you're guaranteed those. You're going to get 2 custom landing pages that we're going to build out for you that are going to match up with the offers. We're going to give you our 180-day buyer nurture follow-up campaign that allows you to have text messages and emails go out to these people as soon as they get in. So these 25 leads are going to be followed up for 180 days, all automatically. Then also the sellers are going to be automatically followed up. You're going to get an automatic text message and drip systems that allows you to do all of this stuff. So if you wanted to create other drip systems, you could. You get a full CRM system with our service. Then you also get an appointment booking system. Basically, the total value for all of this that we value is over $1,300. And, I 100% we've charged people $2,000, $4,000 for services exactly like this. But what I want to do is I want to give you guys something special because all of this stuff that's been happening, I want to make sure that these real estate agents who are maybe struggling inside of their businesses are figuring out how they can actually start to generate stuff. So what I want to do is I want to give you guys essentially a smoking deal for getting all of this for only $147 per month. I think that's very reasonable. It's super fair. It allows you guys to get all of this amazing stuff, not have to worry about doing it yourself, right? I have a course as well that I can share with you guys later, but this allows you guys to not have to worry about anything and just have it on autopilot and generate, 25 new leads for only $147 per month. To give you guys a estimate of what, a realtor.com looks like, you might be paying about $300 for about 10 leads. So this offer is only valid until Sunday. So on Mother's Day at 11 p.m., the offer goes away, right? You guys won't see this offer again. And if you do, well, congratulations, you lucked out and you got it twice. But this offer goes away on the 10th at 11 p.m. If you guys want to get access to it, I'll share over the link, but just so you guys see that this is stuff that we're able to do, generating leads, you can see that there's 5 properties closed. They've actually really closed in 3 of them, 195 leads that have been generated. You can kind of see how they go through the pipeline. So that's, I like to show results. These are a couple of client testimonials and reviews. This is Megan and John Billings. I've been working with Kyle and his team for the last over a year and 5 months. And now I love his service. So we've been working with them for a while. Amazing 2 people to work with. They're great. They're in the top 25% down in Tucson. Helped me out. This is Blake. He's in the Boise area. I showed you guys some of his ads earlier. So he started building a traditional team, needed some help generating leads with first team. And we basically over delivered with all of it. He was ecstatic because he's like, dude, we need to put this on pause for a second. We're getting too many leads. We generated over 125 leads for him in the first month only. So that's Blake. Then Joanna, all I have to say is I don't know how Kyle does it, but I always have new leads in my CRM system every day to call and follow up with. He's amazing and has helped me grow my business since leaving her last team. So you guys can see it's just not me that's just saying this. I do actually really care about helping people. So if you guys want to get access to this, I'm going to share over the link with you guys, but it's only $147 to get started. It's a month-to-month business where you guys just pay it. You just got to give us 30 days notice. This is basically everything that's on the form that you guys can see. You just fill out your information and then put in your credit card information. Then you guys schedule up an appointment to talk with us directly. So if you guys want to get access to that, it's a great program and platform. I just threw in the link in the chat for those of you guys who want to get access to it. You guys are going to get sent a couple email reminders for this too as well. So if you guys don't want to take action on it today, that's fine. But now I want to open it up to a couple questions. I want you guys to ask me some questions, whether it's about the system, whether it's about our program, whether it's about the ads I covered, whatever it is, feel free to unmute your guys' selves or throw it in the chat if you guys have any questions about some of the stuff that you guys are dealing with right now. What if I want more leads? Can I increase the ad spend? Yeah, so if you want to talk to us about different packages, we have multiple different packages that go up to about 500 leads a month. But basically, I wanted to give you guys a special one for just the 25 leads. So if you guys want to talk with me, so George, if you wanted to talk with me, I can definitely chat a little bit about some of our other packages and how those look. If you guys wanted more leads than just 25 every single month. So that's a great question. I appreciate it. Yeah, let's definitely link up. If you want to fill out, if you want to book up an appointment with me, Joe, you can definitely do that. So I will put this. So if you want to book up an appointment with me too as well, you can visit that link and we can sit down for 30 minutes, basically talk about what you're looking to do and accomplish. If you guys want more leads, we actually have a full-fledged ISA team too as well. So if you guys want like a lead concierge service where your leads get called, 27 times within, the first 5 minutes of that lead being generated, then over the next year, we're going to keep on calling them, to follow up and then book you up a live appointment, right? So that's someone who, they go through all of our pre-screening questions and all that stuff. So that's an added service that we have too as well. We also do stuff where it's called database reactivation system. So if you guys have old leads, I'm sure you guys have old or dead leads that you guys haven't been able to convert. We figured out a way to bring those leads back from the dead, right? And get you in front of them and book up appointments. We also have a service like that too as well. But I'd love to get some questions for you guys. I know some of you guys are still on here. I appreciate you, Amy, for letting me know. That's great information. I appreciate that. My biggest thing is I like adding value, right? I really like helping people out. It's what gets me up in the morning, right? Believe it or not, how cheesy that sounds, it's something I truly like to do. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to unmute yourself. I'm going to take a drink of water because my mouth is really parched.
Thank you, Kyle. I'm not sure if I see any more questions or if people are typing, but I have a lot to do with this.
Yeah, most definitely. And that's usually kind of what it is. So this is my contact information. So if you guys have any questions, want to shoot me a text or an email, text messages are usually better for me. I answer those a lot faster. Feel free to follow me on all of the platforms. I've been really using TikTok quite a bit. I think that's the next upcoming platform. haven't figured out a way to monetize off of it yet. But if I'm really just spending my time on it, I think that's worth it to grow an audience. So, you know, my company is Real Estate Best Buddy. For those of you guys who maybe this is your first time seeing me, what we do is we help out. We're a digital marketing advertising agency. And yeah, so that's pretty much that. If you guys have any questions, make sure to take advantage of this if you guys want to get access to it. But if not, that's pretty much the end of my presentation, everything that's included in it. If you guys want to see anything else, I'd love to show you guys about kind of what this is, all of the different things that goes inside of it too as well, one-on-one too. But first off, I'd like to thank every single one of you guys for, you know, taking the time, investing in yourself here, and wanting to do more with your business. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know. I'm going to stick around for a little bit because I need to just make sure that I kind of take some notes on all of the chat stuff that's been sent in there, and just kind of get all of that. But if you guys have any questions or anything like that, I'm going to stick around for a little bit, but feel free to ask away.